this year, WW and I traveled the country on a tour for wellness.
Are you ready to activate your vision?
Now, being and staying well is more important than ever. Welcome to WW Presents Your Life in Focus, a vision forward, the virtual experience. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first ever virtual tour experience. We are live around the world. What a great feeling that is. It's wonderful to see so many of your faces. Hey, everybody. Okay, we got some shout outs here. We have people from all over the world zooming in. Okay, hold up. Let's see where you're from. We've got the UK's in the house. I see Chicago's in the house. DC's in the house. Jacksonville, North Carolina. I see you in the house. Oh, in Australia, it's 1 a.m. down under. Y'all really must want some wellness. Hello, Germany, Sweden, France, Netherlands, New York City. Hello, Nashville. I see you. I saw you all on the dance cam earlier too. So welcome to my kitchen. There are thousands of you on this Zoom and also Facebook and YouTube that I can't see, but I feel your Saturday morning energy. And throughout the hour, there'll be times when we can all talk. You can ask me questions. I'll be looking for those. I already see hellos from all of you. But let me just say this, we started a little late already with a couple of technical difficulties, although guys are out there in my yard doing their very best to keep us up and live. With their masks on and away from me. But thank you for saying yes to this morning, to sharing this Saturday with me. This virtual experience is definitely a new frontier for WW. So we're going to set a vision right now for strong Wi-Fi for me and for all of you, and we're going to get started. So I want to tell you how this experience came to be. Earlier this year, literally from January 4th until March the 8th, WW and I traveled the country on a nationwide tour for wellness, 9 cities. It was exhilarating. I was hugging and dancing and shaking hands with people. And then the pandemic shook us all. Our last stop was in Denver. My friend Gail King was there, our special guest. And we're thinking about ways to connect with all of you since that happened. Now more than ever, I think we all realize, don't we, how important it is to be well and to stay well, right? That's all we're trying to do is just be well and stay well. And nourishing our health, never before have I been more aware of how important it is to be well and having well-being. And it's easier when we realize that we are a part of a whole. That's why I'm so grateful to all of you for being here on a Saturday. Y'all look good for Saturday morning. This is looking good. I see some people put on makeup and lipstick. Hello. Well, WW has always been, had the philosophy of we are better together. And we believe that more now than ever. I think we all feel that, as I was saying, in a deeper way now. I am reminded of, I've been collecting quotes my whole life, and Dr. Martin Luther King obviously is a mentor for me and the rest of the world. And I have a lot of favorite quotes for him, but this one resonates with me during this time. He said, this was decades ago, that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. I ran across that quote the other day, where he also says, whatever affects one directly affects us all indirectly. And I thought, whoa, how prophetic for especially these times. Because now in these times, we finally get to acknowledge what is really essential and who is really essential. And as I was saying in my Facebook graduation speech yesterday, look who turns out to be essential. All the people who for so many years were invisible, taken for granted, ignored, the grocery store cashiers, the people who stocking the shelves, the guys who are driving the food across the country, the food suppliers. Now we are recognizing how we're all connected and how what affects one directly affects all of us indirectly. So, I think it's important that we all come together, that we focus on wellness, because I see you all look very good up top. but no telling what you got on the bottom. And at some point, we all gonna have to put real pants on again. And we're gonna hope they fit. That's what I'm doing, right? I'm gonna hope they fit. So for the next 4 Saturdays, we're gonna be here together talking about some of the most important aspects of creating your vision forward. I think that's so great because finding clarity into what matters most, that's what we're going to talk about today. Next week is connecting relationships with yourself and other people, because one thing that we know for sure is happening is there are going to be a lot of babies coming out of this, and there's going to be a lot of separations and divorces, because this 2 months in lockdown has taught you whether you really want to be with that person or you really don't want to be with that person. And life is too short to be with somebody you don't want to be with. So, and then we're going to talk about in the 3rd week, adapting, building strength and resilience. And the final week is committing to your habits and health and happiness. What I think is so great is this has been happening all over the web, is that people of like minds are joining together. And here we are, like-minded people, thousands of us around the world, like-minded in our desire to seek higher ground for ourselves. And the higher ground is the wellness space in mind, body, and spirit. And what I do know for sure is that everything that is happening to us is preparing us for whatever is to come. And literally, we can see that this moment has been a moment to send us all to our rooms, literally, for a timeout. And whether we wanted to or not, it's an opportunity to reset, to reorganize, to rethink where we are and where we want to be and where we choose to go when this pandemic is over and we are released back into a new normal. Everybody keeps saying we want things to go back to normal. Forget that, folks. Forget that. Let go of we want things the way they used to be. We cannot have had this experience without being forever changed. And those of us who are carriers of the light, seekers of the light, as you all are, seeking wellness, know that you have to move into wherever this moment is carrying us. So ask yourself, what could you reset to help yourself be healthier and well in this moment, in these moments that we're experiencing? No question about it. The pandemic, the lockdown, the separation, the social distancing has caused us all to feel some sense of disorder. I feel it too, even though I literally am leaning into every spiritual practice I ever thought I believed in, but it still has caused disorder. And I'm asking myself the same questions that I'm asking you to ask yourself. What can the disorder reorder for you? We cannot let this moment, this extraordinary time that no one in our lifetime has experienced, pass us by and us not get all that it's here to teach, impact, show, and evolve us to. So to me, the cornerstone of any wellness is in vision is focus. So I found myself at the beginning of this pandemic feeling several things. First, when lockdown came, I was excited because, whoa, I thought it was only going to be like 2 weeks. And I was treating it like vacation. And I didn't have to fit into any pants. So I was eating everything. I was like counting the points in my head, but not really tracking them. And then when I realized we're going to be longer, I thought, after I put on the first 7 pounds, I said, whoa, let's get ourselves refocused and back on track. I was feeling overwhelmed, but I will tell you that for me, being the practice of being fully present has saved me. And one of the reasons I was feeling overwhelmed and eating my way through the first 2 weeks is because I had just come off of that tour. And I saw I see some faces that I saw on the tour. Hey, Lisa Schaub, I see you there. And I realized, as more and more information was coming forward, that wow, after every show, y'all, had 400, 500 people waiting in line to take pictures and shaking hands. So I shook hands, I hugged people, people kissed me, I kissed them, we cried, we danced, we did everything. And then I thought, 14 for the first 14 days after the tour finished, every day I was waiting to like know whether or not I was going to be a victim of COVID-19. I am in the at-risk category. I am 66. Never before have I been reminded of that number, because at first when the news started coming out about it affecting elderly people, I was like, oh, so sad, the elderly people. Then I realized they were talking about people over 60. Oh, they're talking about me. Oh, I didn't realize I was elderly. Okay, thanks so much. And as I've shared with so many of you, I had pneumonia last year. So I'm really in that category of at risk. So I was worried. And if you're watching the news every day, as I know we all have been, needed it for information, I have now stopped and limited that for myself. If you're watching the news every day, you can get overwhelmed with the stories. And I was reading every terrible, horrible story of what it does to your body and how it shuts down your lungs, and then it makes your heart race, and then your kidneys fail, and all of that. Okay, do I have a witness over there? I see you, Linda. And so I had to stop doing that. I had to stop doing that. And every time I would get overwhelmed, I would do this. I would just literally go to my breath and remind myself that breath is the presence of life. It reminds you that the breath is literally the source of life for you. Come back to focus. And I would say, in this moment, I am well. In this moment, I'm okay. I am not in the hospital. I am not on a respirator. I am not that story. In this moment, I am breathing. I am well. I'm okay. Coming back to the moment, reminding myself, in this moment, I am well. So I believe that the first step toward focus is to start exactly where you are. Let's see where everyone is in their vision right now. Today's workbook pages were included in the email that we sent to you when you registered at www.com/Oprah. You can still go there now to register and get your workbook, including all of you folks who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Hey. And if you weren't able to download them, don't worry, because we're going to put the pages up on the screen and you can write down your answers at home, or if you're on Zoom with me here, you can participate in an interactive poll. To do that, you enter your answers at the prompts on your phone or laptop, and then Zoom is going to tally our collective score, y'all, so that we can find out where and how we're all doing. Okay, so page 1, here we go. We're going to take a wellness assessment each week based on that week's topic. And this is going to be our focus quotient. First, take a moment to read what focus means to us. This is what our definition is. It's the ability to pause, to recognize our feelings, and find clarity in what matters most as a path to both physical and emotional well-being. And in this moment, it means maintaining balance despite a constant flow of overwhelming information and disruptions to your life. So everybody wants a little bit more of that, right? I see you there, Darlena Slate. How you doing? Everybody wants a little bit more of that. So this is how you score. 1 to 4 means not me at all. No, not talking about me. That's number 1. 2 is sometimes me, 3 is often that's me, and 4 is, woo, you talking about me. So now read through the questions. This is a check-in to give you an idea of where you are in this moment, and then select what most resembles you, and it's going to register into the Zoom poll if everything is working the way it should. You see that little box there? It should be on your screen. If it's not, you can just write it down on a piece of paper at home. Okay, so here we go. I adjust the amount of news I take in to keep my emotions in balance. Is that not you at all? Sometimes you, often that's you, or that is you? Moving on to question 2. I try to create activities that channel my stress, like taking walks, cooking, and completing projects around the house. Don't forget to scroll down and hit submit at the end, okay? Question number three, it's important to me to maintain healthy habits by eating at regular times and choosing foods that nourish me. Yes. I felt we were eating too much, so we cut it down to one meal a day at our house. One central meal, and the rest of the time, everybody's on your own. Number four, I pay attention to my emotions throughout the day and practice releasing what I cannot control. Number five, despite difficult challenges, I take time to recognize moments of beauty and gratitude throughout the day. Okay, you should be done. This is not SAT score. This is just, we're just trying to feel where you are right now, okay? You're not going to be tested later. We're not going to call you. Okay. Now, everyone add up your score and raise your hand if you scored, and our team is going to find you in the gallery. So keep your hand raised, okay? So here we are. Anybody scored through 5 through 8? 5 through 8. 5 through 8? Oh, y'all are doing good. No, 5 through 8s. Anybody, 5 through 8? If you are scoring 5 through 8, it means you may be feeling a little bit out of focus. It's really a lot out of focus. Try shifting your thoughts toward what you can control right now. And some ideas include being mindful of the flow of information. You know, I think the flow of information thing is big, y'all. You got to control what you're putting in, because that controls what you're thinking and then putting out, and how that shows up in your daily life, in your relationships, or, you know, if you're single, you know, how you react throughout the day. You've got to control what's coming in. Okay, moving on. If you scored 9 through 12. Anybody in that category? 9 through 12. So that means 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Okay, Justin Selsky, I see you over there. Hi there, Justin. Can you put Justin in my screen, y'all?
Oprah.
Hi there, Justin.
Hi, good morning, Oprah.
Hi. So what's going on with you? You're working toward focus, but often moments of uncertainty overwhelm you?
Right. I'm really doing the best I can. I'm doing a lot of fun stuff like online improv classes, online acting, but obviously there's still moments where I'm really, really down. So it's kind of like a mixed bag for me.
Okay. And because what? You get overwhelmed, right?
Extremely. You know, I'm a teacher, so I'm thinking about my students. I'm thinking about my weight loss journey because I'm really close to being back to lifetime. I'm thinking about my parents who are elderly. So there's just so much going on in my head.
Yeah. Well, I think, oh my God, y'all, this is such an incredible time for all of us to hone the spiritual practice of being present and recognizing what you can control and what you cannot. And so one of the things that saved me, I cannot speak, you know, obviously, I'm living, you know, in Santa Barbara where we have sunshine every day and the birds seem louder than ever. And I still have some support, although I have days when I am in charge of cooking and cleaning the house and all that. But so I can't speak to anybody who has children. I don't even know how y'all are doing it. Anybody on here have children? Raise your hand right now. Okay. So those of you with children in the house, God bless you. May we have a word of prayer and thanksgiving to you all. Mercy, mercy. But I will, so I can't speak to what that is like because I have girls in the house, but they're 24 and 25 and on their own and know how to ask for what they want and take time off when they don't have it. So Justin, I would say to you, focusing on what you can control and what you can't, because worry, as you know, doesn't change anything. I think about all of us who had plans for the 2 months that we've been in lockdown, who had things that we were worried about that never even happened. So more than anything, this time shows us that we don't have any control over that. So focusing on what you do have control over instead of what you don't have control over, and releasing it, releasing it. You know, a part of my morning meditation, I have these like cards I pull. Um, and this morning I ran across this by someone named Achan Cha. I don't know who that is, but it says, do everything with a mind that lets go. If you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you will know complete peace and freedom. Your struggles with the world will come to an end in direct proportion to how you're able to let go. I know those are words that may not resonate in this moment, but it is true. The more you can just focus on what can I handle? I can't handle that. I'm not do with that. So even I have friends who are calling me all the time because I shut down my access to so much information and news. But people call me all the time telling me about this one horrible thing after another, and I go, no, 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 no. I'm not doing that here. So I hope that helps you a little bit. Focus on what you can control. You know what to do. You're just not doing it, Justin. Stephanie from YouTube says she's watching news every day and it's scary. Stephanie, are you here, Steph? Well, most of the time I would say, okay, those of you who scored between 13 and 17. 13 and 17. Okay, doing pretty good there. That means most of the time you're able to stay focused on what you can manage and practice, the healthy habits that keep you grounded, but worry has some power to still derail you. So the question becomes, how can you, I see you, Allison, there in purple. So the question, Allison in purple, how can you strengthen the skills that will sustain you in a challenging moment? How can you do that? Allison.
Hi, Oprah.
Hi.
I think just how can I sustain my skills? I think I've been trying to focus on, like you said, what I can control, what I can handle, and creating boundaries for myself and being okay.
Let's have a moment for boundaries, y'all. Everybody needs some boundary. Raise your hand. Oh, yeah. Let's have a moment for boundaries. And it's hard to do if you're a person like myself, and I know a lot of us on here who have grown up with the need to please, right?
Yes.
This is what the moment is here to teach us. I just want to say, I cannot say this enough, that whatever you're feeling the most, whatever is getting under your skin the most, that's the thing you most need to heal and learn and evolve to. And so that is a big one for me too. Go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted. Go ahead.
Oh no, so that's pretty much it, is just, telling myself that it's okay to take time for myself. And in the beginning, I was like, oh, I need to work out every day and cook really healthy and go on walks and take up a new hobby. And I don't need to do those things. I need to do what I can. So
maybe you need to do one of those things.
Right.
Maybe you need to do one. And then maybe you need to add another. And maybe you need, I agree with that. Putting so much pressure on yourself to do it all, I did that too in the beginning. Oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to work out and then I'm going to add weight and then I'm going to go back to Pilates and then I'm going to do, and then I ended up on Zoom calls all day. So, but I think the setting boundaries thing is really important for all of us to have a certain time where people could, because are you all feeling this too? That because you're at home and working from home, people feel like they can call you all day, any time of the day. They can text you. The weekends, Sundays move into Wednesdays and Wednesdays move into Saturdays. And so everybody just thinks all the time that you are available. And if you are not, I see you there. That's Elise Price. Hi. And if you are not available and you don't respond, people are like, where are you? Because they know you're home. So they're like, expect to be responded to immediately. I think we're all feeling that. So the thing to do is to set boundaries for yourself. You tell people, this is an old adage I learned from Dr. Phil years ago. You teach people how to treat you. So you tell them what your time limits are, what your boundaries are, what you can do, what you cannot do. And that's what this moment is here to evolve us to, is to, oh, wow, I never learned to do that for myself. So now I really need to do that or I'm going to lose my mind. I'll tell you, in our house, I have two of my girls from South Africa who've been living in the United States since they started college in 2012. So they're, all graduated and going to graduate school and all that. And one of them said to me recently, and we've been having wonderful evenings and bonding and decided that one meal a day was great for our family unit. And so Sade had said to about 3 weeks in, sent a message to everybody in the house saying, I won't be at dinner today. I won't be available. I'm going to be in my room. I have to sit with myself because the state of the world has got me feeling really down. And my immediate feeling was, what's wrong with us? That you don't want to be around us. And then I said to her, I went to the room to say, are you okay? Are you okay? She goes, yeah, I'm okay. I just need some time away from everybody. And so there's a moment where I was like, away from me too? Do you mean me too? And she said, yeah, don't take it personal. I just need some time. And then I thought, wow, what a great thing to be able to ask what you need, to say, I need some time away from y'all, away from the socializing, away from the whatever, the dinners and all that, just to be with myself. So I learned something from Sade in that moment, that to be able to ask for what you need, even if you think it's going to hurt other people's feelings, particularly in this moment. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Oprah, please remove the paper on the left. Okay, is that what you want? Thank you. Okay, 18 to 20. Who scored 18 to 20? Of course you did, Lisa Schaub. Lisa's my coach for WW. Of course, Lisa, if you hadn't have scored 18 to 20, I'd have been surprised. You know why? Because you're the coach. So that means that you're, yeah, it means that your conscious effort to keep yourself balanced is, you got the firm foundation. You should be teaching this right now. So how are you doing that, Coach Lisa Schaub from WW, my coach?
I'm doing a lot of listening to my body and respecting, what the message is that I'm getting from myself, and really honoring what I'm feeling and sitting with that. So it's not, always beautiful and lovely, but it's just what I'm trying to do, and it works. It's not comfortable all the time, but what I found is that how I feel moves through. Like, it's not always one emotion. So if I can just sit with it, it kind of it kind of waits,
Yeah, and do you find this too, Lisa, that coming back to your breath, I am well. I'm coming back to your breath, coming back to your breath, reminding in this moment, I am well. All of that stuff is out there. That's just in my head. That is not happening in this moment right now. I have actually become so spiritually awakened to, like, every step, every bird, every blade of grass, what the sun is doing, what the leaves are. Yeah, I've just become very much more focused on that. Yeah. So are you building in regular walks? Are you building in opportunities to, are you explore? Even with the mask on?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I live in New York City, and we are blessed with Central Park. I wear a mask, and I take walks. I take walks with my dogs. I take walks with my family. And I take pictures of the flowers, just anything to stay present, to be in the moment, I look up at the sky as much as I can. I mean, I live in a city, so I really appreciate blue sky when I see it. And I just take it in and be in the moment. Everything you said about being present really resonates with me deeply.
Yeah. And being present means you all, like lots of spiritual thinkers and lots of traditions talk about it. It just means just being right where you are right now. It means if you're washing dishes, you're feeling the water and the soap on your hands. If when you're washing your hands, you're actually in the moment washing your hands. You're not washing your hands thinking about what's going to happen next. It means if, I have stairs in my house, so every stair, I mean, I'm really with that stair. I'm being thankful in the moment for being able to walk up that stair, to walk down that stair. It just means and so if you're doing that, it means it takes you out of being in the craziness of your head that Justin was talking about earlier. So let's see how everybody did as a whole. Thank you, Lisa, my coach. Thank you so much. Everybody did as a whole. 4% of you scored 5 through 8. So that's really good on a Saturday morning here at WW. Only 4% of the people on this whole call are out of focus. 32% of you scored 9 through 12, meaning you're working towards focus. 51% of you scored 13 through 17, and 12% scored 18 through 20. That's really great. Hey, give ourselves a high five for that. That's great, guys. So we're going to keep working on the I am well in this moment focus. And by the end of this week, next week, we're even going to be better. I think this is great. This is, well, of course, we're all like-minded people coming together. What did I expect? Yes. So while we were working on this experience, we heard from so many people about how they've lost focus. Tanya Richards texted us to say that after attending the Brooklyn tour stop, she left feeling motivated to get her health on track. But I noticed how many times I put my face up near my hands. Have y'all noticed that now? Since we're told not to do it, every time I do it, I'm like, oh God, my face is near my hands again. Okay, but since the pandemic, Tanya told us that she's fighting a silent battle between caring for herself and everyone else. Tanya, hey.
Hi, Oprah. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to Brooklyn.
Yes, I was raised in Brooklyn, of course, and thank you for coming to Brooklyn. It was an amazing experience when I attended. Thank you.
That was a great day with Michelle Obama and thousands of you there. Okay. And I will have to say, Tanya, I think that you speak for millions of people right now who feel just like you. So what is the silent battle? You came to that event and then you joined WW afterwards, right?
Yes.
And yes, then so I heard that you lost 22 pounds in like less than 2 months.
Yes, I did. I actually had a goal after weighing myself at the end of 2019 to lose about 60 pounds. And I was motivated to stay on track, especially after attending your event in Brooklyn. And before the pandemic hit, I was about 20 pounds down. I tried to keep it together while I was quarantined. Unfortunately, it was really hard because my current career is a senior HR business partner at Columbia University Irving Medical Center. I'm also the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. And, it's a huge job. I'm a mom of 3 children, ages 13, 10, and 1. And also my husband is an essential worker in New York, so he goes to work regularly. My 1-year-old doesn't understand that when dad gets home, that she can't run up to him and hug him. Unfortunately, there's a process that needs to happen before. But because of the large responsibilities that I do have, it does become overwhelming while at home and trying to teach my children. I'm now a teacher. But again, just trying to make sure that
don't you have greater respect for the ones who are teaching your children? Don't you have great respect for the ones who are teaching your children?
Oh yes, definitely. I've sent a thank you note to a lot of my children's teachers because they've been so supportive and so helpful. But it's something that was unexpected, and it's really still now about 10 weeks in, very hard to get adjusted to.
Okay, so you said that you told our producer that you've heard about putting that oxygen mask on first, but you say you don't even know what that means or how to do that.
Sure, yeah. Usually I am the person that everyone goes to at work and also at home, in my family.
Yeah.
And, you typically hear people say you have to put on your oxygen mask first before you put on someone else's. But in actuality, it's really hard to do that in practice, I should say. So I'm just hoping that from this experience with you, and thank you again for doing this virtually, that I can learn some techniques on how I can put myself first, get back on track. I fell off the health wagon. I've now started gaining back my unhealthy weight that I lost within the last few months. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say in regards to just getting back on track to losing those 60 pounds.
Well, you don't lose 60, you lose one at a time, as you know, and you've done it and you will do it again. And the fact that you are here means that you are stepping up to yourself. You're stepping into the space. You're admitting where you weren't as strong as you wanted to be and saying, I now claim the desire to be stronger. So I applaud you. We're all applauding you because you are speaking for so many millions of people around the world who are feeling just as you are feeling and are still dealing with it. So let's start with how strong and vital you really are right now. Have you given yourself credit for, you know, for being the vital, strong woman that you are, for continuing on, for doing human resources for everybody? And I hear at your hospital there was a suicide in an emergency recently. Didn't an emergency worker commit suicide? I mean,
Yes,
yes.
it was highly publicized that we had, unfortunately, one of our emergency physicians passed. We're still coping with that, but yes, it's very, very stressful.
Yes. And so you're dealing with that. You're dealing with you're in the thick of it, providing human resource to everybody else. And like so many women in particular throughout the world, and really cool men who are also caregivers, you are doing all of that for everybody and forgetting about yourself. So I would just ask you, you were talking about, you used the analogy of the oxygen mask. Have you ever been on a plane and the oxygen mask came down?
No,
Okay.
thankfully,
I
no, I
have.
have not.
I have. And it's a really scary thing. And it is the truth that if you don't grab the oxygen mask first, you will lose the ability to breathe and help anybody else. So that's the same thing with the flight attendants who are on the plane. They grab theirs first and then try to help everybody else. So the truth is, you are exactly as you explained, the strength and source of everything going on in your family, along with your partner who's an essential worker. And I remember in Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, she talked about how she also, have you read that book? It's incredible.
Yes, I have.
She talked about how she was feeling overwhelmed by having to do everything when State Senator Barack Obama was never at home. And so she started getting up a half an hour earlier or an hour earlier in order to give herself the time. And I know for somebody who's already feeling like you're stretched, that giving yourself an extra half an hour just to spend time with yourself feels like I don't have an extra half an hour. But I promise you that if you do that for yourself, if that's all the time you have in the day is to be able to get up a half an hour earlier, and if you can't do a half an hour, just start with 10 minutes earlier, just so that you can go in the bathroom and put the toilet seat down with yourself before everybody else starts with all the stuff that they need. So start
Sure.
small. Just like Allison was saying earlier, you don't want to promise yourself, I'm going to do it, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do yoga, and then I'm going to do a walk every day, and then you just want to start with the one thing you can do. And what would that be, Tanya?
I would say exactly what you said, just giving myself that time, because to be honest with you, what I try to do in the mornings when I get up is work. I get on my emails right away. I'm the last one to go to bed at night after everyone else is down. I end with emails. So I think I just need to find boundaries, as you said earlier and Stephanie indicated, where I find time for myself. Of course, when I started the quarantine, I was going to do it all as well. I'm an introvert by nature. So I thought, hey, you know, this is easy peasy. And about week 4, I was losing it, I would say. But I
Yes.
think that's really great advice. I'm going to find time for myself explicitly and take care of my needs.
I would say for everybody who's on our call, you're listening to me around the world, you already know the answer. I think it's wonderful that we've all come together to talk about our collective ideas, but you already know the answer. You are the wisest person for you. You already know what to do. The question is, will you make the decision for yourself to do it? Will you see yourself as the vital, the vital necessity, strong structural force in your home that is needed to keep going, and do what you need to do to protect that vital source? You have to do what you need to do to protect the source, because without you, everything falls apart. You know that.
Definitely. Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
And so protect that thing, protect that, protect it as though it is what it is, sacred.
Thank you.
And the way to do it, the way to get back on track, I did it. I told you. I thought the first 2 weeks, just like you, because I am a secret introvert who does extrovert qualities very well. But when I was told last year, I see somebody else. Is that you, Johnny, up there? Yeah, applauding. Yes. So when I was told last year that I had pneumonia and I couldn't go anywhere for a month, I was like, yay, hey, I don't have to go anywhere. So when I heard we're in lockdown, I was like, woohoo, don't have to go anywhere. And more importantly, nobody expects me to be anywhere. So
Yeah.
that was like a license to do whatever. And the only way to get back on track is to start tracking.
Yeah.
The only way to get back on track is to start tracking. As you know, when you start tracking in your head, you lose count and you estimate, and then you realize, oh, that peanut butter was 6 points, not 3. You know, so
It's
the
just
only
so
way to
much
get back on
easier
track.
to mindlessly snack.
Yeah, let's just make that agreement today, Tanya. We're getting back on track. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow gets delayed. How about let's start today? Let's start tracking today and give yourself
Sure.
15 extra minutes in the morning. Okay? I love
Yes.
it. Okay, Tanya.
Yeah.
One way to help raise your
Thank
focus
you.
quotient also is to identify a word that you believe is going to help you stay on track. So let's all go back to our wellness quotient and ask yourself, what word can strengthen your focus? Write it down and keep that word in mind this week. And what's one simple thing you can do every day to put your word and your focus into action? Write your word, y'all, and hold it up. I want to see some of your words. Consistent, yeah. Happiness, relax, grateful. That's my word, Lisa Price. So you can write down your word. Oh, I love all these words. Boundaries, dare. Oh, Jared Fox is going to dare. Jared, I'm curious of what the dare means. Jared Fox with the glasses on
Yeah.
in the corner. Hi.
Dare is about daring to be powerful beyond your greatest measure. I really think about that when I dare to be powerful, when I dare to be courageous. That is when I'm most powerful. So it's about being brave, having the courage to be able to do that and make that choice and come out on top.
Mhm.
Scary.
Oh,
It's scary
it-
sometimes.
yeah, it is. That's why you have to dare. That's why I like that word. I hadn't thought of that word. Oh, I love the breathe too. Guys, I can't tell you how much going back to the breath in this moment, I am well. In this moment, I am well. Okay, Tanya, what was your word?
Boundaries.
Oh, girl, yes.
Boundaries.
Okay, good word. How are you going to do it?
As we had talked about before, I think I just need to carve out time for myself and be very disciplined in regards to what I'm going to do to ensure that I'm back on the healthy track.
Okay, so you're gonna track. So for me, boundaries starts with you all, and this may work for you all or not. Don't let the phone, and I had to work on this. Don't let the phone be the first thing you pick up in the morning. Let the first thing you do in the morning be whatever that is for you. But for me, I now have this ritual of opening the curtains and acknowledging the day. Like, is it misty? Is it foggy? Is it cold? Is it sunny? Is the sun out? Is it half cloud? Just something that puts me into the day without, because the moment you pick this thing up, it means your day now belongs to whoever's on this phone, right? It means now you're not operating on what you want to do. You're operating based on what's on here. This is my dog Luke, who passed away. This is my screenshot. But you have to, as you said, create the boundaries. And for everybody, that boundary is going to be something different. So let the word guide you into what your behavior and action is going to be for the rest of the week. So thank you so much, Tanya. I'll be checking in. Thanks for wearing a pretty red dress. You got dressed it up.
I usually don't, so this was special for me. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You look gorgeous. You look gorgeous. All right, back on track, tracking, WW, points. WW, and I also have a text number, so you can text us your word right now. The number is 917-924-4450. We'd like to hear what that word for you is. Okay, so here's the deal. What we've been talking today is really all about mindset. It's the third pillar to, I think, what makes WW such a successful program for me and others. And as Tanya just said, she got off track, you get back on track. The beginning of the pandemic, I got off track, I'm back on track. And literally, that's what we do. We track our points. Now, I think there's an opportunity for nourishing ourselves, for cooking a lot at home. I've been doing a lot of that. So it's not just nourishing in terms of food, it's cooking, and it's also nourishing our inner being as well as our bodies. I have to say something fun about this. I posted this, me making pasta in the kitchen, singing Deo, and y'all know what happened? The greatest surprise. I got a call from Harry Belafonte. Isn't that the coolest thing? Harry Belafonte somehow saw that video. Somebody sent it to him and said, I'm glad you're still singing Deo. I'm walking every day. We do that as a group in our house. Some of us do, Stebin and I walk every day. Sometimes Stebin, the girls and I walk. But that's a part of the mindset that I'm going to give myself a form of exercise that doesn't necessarily mean I'm on the treadmill or I'm trying to burn calories, but I'm just getting out and making sure I take in the fresh air and refresh myself. That's a part of my mindset. Mindset is the established set of attitudes that you choose to hold as an individual. So we all know that you can change your attitude. When you start to change the attitude and change your mindset, you begin to change what's happening in your life. So let's think about, what is your mindset? Justin, not worrying. What is your mindset? My favorite kind of mindset shift is one that starts with an aha moment. You all know I love that word so much. I want you to meet Jonna, who says that biting into an apple at the same Brooklyn tour you were at, Tanya, created a powerful shift for her. So she joined WW the day after biting into that apple, and she's lost 30 pounds so far. And you say, Jonna, it's all about staying aware. Tell us about that. Tell us about that apple.
Hi, Oprah. It's an honor to speak to you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, we're kitchen to kitchen.
Yeah, we are. So
Yeah.
I've actually lost 33 pounds now. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yes. Yeah.
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 So we broke for lunch at the Brooklyn tour, and I remember standing in line. It was a really long line, and thinking to myself, what am I going to choose for lunch? Because I really was not even interested in anything that at that time was
You were
being
not
offered.
interested in the Panera wrap?
Oh, I know. I'm sorry, but I guess I was just overthinking it.
Yeah.
And what had happened was I was doing low carbs for so long, and it wasn't working for me at all. I mean, I was like on this up and down roller coaster, and maybe for over the last couple of years, I had lost 10 pounds if I was even lucky. So I was just really overthinking the whole lunch thing, and I was like, what am I going to have? So I decided to have the turkey sandwich. And I ate the turkey sandwich without the bread, and that was really fulfilling. And so I was sitting there thinking to myself, do I have the chips that go along
Pulling
with
out
it,
the
or
little
do I have
pieces
the
of
apple?
turkey.
Yeah, exactly. So I decided like the apple was unhealthy, but I decided like that was my whole mindset at the time was, well, I guess the lesser of two evils is I'm going to eat the apple. And I took a bite of the apple, and I looked at my friend and I said, this is the best apple I've ever eaten. It's the most delicious thing I think I've ever eaten in a long time. And I cannot believe I've been depriving my body of good foods. And it was just an incredible moment for me at that time, because I was like, what you are doing, Jonna, is not working for you, and you need to make a change. So
Whoa. And it was an apple, and it was an apple, that was one of the hardest things my team had to do was to try to feed 15,000 people in that stadium in Brooklyn in the amount of time that we had. And, trying to put into those, lunch containers, something that would at least nourish you and give you enough strength for the remainder of the afternoon, but also not make you sleepy. And so the fact that it was an apple for you, the moment that you describe with the apple is actually a form of meditation. That's what mindfulness is really, when you can feel the crunch and feel the sensation and what it's doing in your mouth and the experience, the texture, the flavor. It's all about being what you were 100% present with that apple, I do believe, Jonna.
I was. Yes, I was.
Yeah. And since that time, even during the pandemic, you've managed to remain on track and continued losing up to 33 pounds since February 9th in Brooklyn.
Yes, I have. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been very,
incredible.
yeah, it's been an exciting time for me in the whole craziness of what's going on in this world. So, yes.
So what has been your mindset? I was just talking about mindset. Obviously, you had a strong one. You made a decision that day. And what's different about this decision? Because obviously, you've also made other decisions about taking care of your health. So what was different this time?
So, what was different this time was I finally was truthful to myself about having to take care of me. I've also always been a caregiver and put myself last in a long list of people that I love in my life. And I made that my story for a very long time. And it, in reality, was an excuse. And so I realized that if I don't take care of me, then how am I going to take care of the people I love? And I have two awesome boys that are 18 and 20 that I want to be around for as long as I possibly can be. And I want to see them get married, and I want to see them have children, and I want to be there for their children. And so that is, I really just became truthful to myself.
You got it. Yeah. Tanya, I hope you're hearing this. Can you get an amen from Tanya there? It's true. You had made the decision, you want to be around for everybody else. And I think everybody on this call, the fact that you have joined together in this global desire, seeking higher ground for wellness, means you're people who are enlightened and evolved enough to know that taking care of yourself is central. It's the key. So I thank you for being an incredible example of that. 33 pounds is just the beginning for you. I think you look great where you are, whatever you choose,
Thank
whatever
you
number
so
you
much.
choose to land at. I think it's going to be great.
I
But
actually,
more importantly,
yeah.
it's the mindset. It's the mindset. Yeah.
Well, I've learned a lot from you actually, because one of the things that you said on your tour was about when you were at your thinnest, you weren't your healthiest. And there were so many
Right.
things that resonated with me with that. And so I actually have not set a goal weight for myself. I've decided to just set small victories and just live every single day and make good choices and know balance, and that I'm going to feel healthy. And that's my goal, is that I
Whoa.
want to just be healthy.
Yes. We
So thank
applaud you
you.
on that. Thank you. Keep going. So, Jonna, I had fun thinking of a little surprise to celebrate your aha moment. I love an aha so much. So I'm going to send you, first of all, an Apple Watch because of the Apple.
Oh, thank you.
And then a year of Blue Apron deliveries to help you continue savoring your meals. And
Oh, wow.
my favorite, a Fruit of the Month Club membership from the famous Harry and David. And I can't wait to apples come
Wow.
in the fall for you. Okay. I'm not
Oh,
going to
thank
do
you
that
so
until
much,
it's safe to
Oprah.
have deliveries. Yeah, when it's safe to have deliveries, I will have them delivered to you. Okay.
I so appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Really. Thank you for your inspiration today. Congratulations on your
Thank
success
you.
so far.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, y'all. Now I'm ready. Thank you so much, Shauna. Our nationwide tour a few months ago, we had 9 fantastic visionaries who shared their personal wellness journeys. And I had such a great conversation in Atlanta. That particular visionary and I decided to become running mates in the campaign for wellness. Who better to help us kickstart a new vision for ourselves than The Rock? Ah, hello, Dwayne.
Hello, I hear you, Lady O.
You hear me?
There
yo,
you
yo,
are.
yo. Look at you. Yay.
Hey. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So
It
good to
means
see
so much
you.
to all of us that you're joining us today during this unprecedented moment. Thank you for being here. How are you doing?
You know what? Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. I'm doing as great, I think, as can be during this time. And especially considering, we're in our multiple months now of being locked down. So I feel like I feel like I found my rhythm, feel like I found a little bit of my groove. I've had the opportunity now to sit for about the past 45 minutes and listen to you and all the audience members who you've been talking to. It's the striking reminder that we are all just experiencing this thing together on many different levels in many different ways. But it's, as you said, it's so unprecedented, but also, just based off of everything that you've been talking about with your audience, it could become a very powerful conduit for a change for people. So
Yeah.
it's been wonderful.
For literally evolving, don't you think, for us to evolve to whatever the next level we are in our own personal human consciousness, I think.
Yes. And you were saying something earlier about, we are home bodies. I like to be home too as well and do simple core things, but we do well exterior and having to go out there and do what we do. And the same thing too happened with me when we knew that, oh, okay, now we're getting locked down. I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to get so much done. This is going to be amazing. Everything is going to be amazing. And then before you know it, I was wobbly. I had about a 50-50 ratio of good days to wobbly days too as well, and trying to figure everything out.
This makes
yeah,
us feel so good. You don't know how good we feel that you, The Rock, were wobbly.
Yes, it's true. I mean, just because you think there's days where I thought I had it together, and I did. I felt like I had it together. I had a clear. We talk about mindset with your audience. I had a vision. I had a focus. Okay, I'm good. My feet feel solid on firm ground. And then the next couple of days, I would wake up and feeling wobbly because you realize that, wait a second, there's no blueprint, there's no playbook. Every single day moving forward is a new thing that we're all experiencing together. Because usually, when we experience any kind of grief, we could reach out to our friends. Maybe they're in different countries, maybe different parts of the world. and they could lift us up. When we're all going through it together at the same time, that heaviness is a very real thing.
And let me ask you, for you too, do the days feel like there's no difference between a Tuesday and a Thursday and a Thursday and a Saturday and a Saturday and they just like you lose track of what day it is, because we used to have markers like this Tuesday I'm going to be doing that, and then this Thursday I'm going to be going here, and then Saturday I'm going to be and now it just feels like we're in our house, and Stedman last night was like, is it Friday again? Yes, it is.
Yes, they all just end with a Y now, is where we're at. And what I also found was when you realize just how fast the days can go by when you don't have a lot to do.
Yes.
And they just move
Yes.
by so quickly and fast. And so what we have had to do is really try and make it a point to try and be as structured as we possibly can with the babies, and not only that, but then trying to find time for ourselves too. Lauren and I, even if we're squeezing in 30 minutes, I love how you were telling how Michelle Obama had said she used to wake up very early ahead just to have some time for herself. We do that too in this household as well.
Well, you know what's so interesting? It was The Rock's birthday like a week or so ago, and I sent you a text of me taking a shot of tequila, not just tequila, not any tequila, the tequila, Terramana. So there was me in my Terramana shot, and I was saying I'm taking a shot in honor of your birthday. And when you texted me back, it was 11:30 at night, and you were in the gym. And I went, I have never seen a gym at 11:30 at night. So I know working out is what you call your anchor for well-being. Are you doing it day and night, or you're doing that to sort of keep yourself grounded?
Sure, it's all the above. And so for me, the training has become an anchor in my life, or physical activity. Yes, there's a physical aspect to it, but more so it's a psychological, it's a mental aspect. What I found with the gym used to be my daily anchor. I'd wake up, I'd have my structured routine, get up in the morning, and I would train. But when the world changed, then life changed. And then everything just went boop, like that. And
Right.
so that's why at 11:30, I am receiving your text and I'm in the gym and I'm texting you back in the gym. So now the anchor becomes in the morning, babies, a little bit of work, babies, more work, babies. And then, so now the gym, while it is still an anchor, it just gets flip-flopped and I put it wherever I can. But that's not to say I don't make sure that I find the time. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it's not to say that I don't find the time for me and to anchor myself into something, because I still do need that. But it's just everything, when the world changed again, everything just went boop and changed as well.
I saw where you told your Instagram followers that you and Lauren do a mental inventory check. What does that mean? With each other.
Sure.
I like the sound of that.
When we went on lockdown again, the first couple of weeks were a little challenging. The first month or two were very challenging. We started to realize that it had an impact on the relationship, and we would get snippy where generally we don't get snippy. We would get a little hot-headed where we don't. The reactions will be a little bit shorter with each other. So luckily we were able to recognize it and nip it in the bud. So then what we decided to do was, it's really important just to take a mental inventory check with each other. Sometimes it's late at night once the babies are asleep. Sometimes it's early in the morning before they wake up, middle of the day. Just hey, how you doing? Everything good? Do you need anything? So you said something earlier about boundaries and how important that is. And what we've realized too is just how important it is to communicate with each other now more than ever. It sounds a little cliche, but it's so true. But now more than ever, it's so important to express whatever it is you're feeling. Now, of course, in a sensitive way, it doesn't work if you're super emotional and angry or anything like that. But just if it's something you need, say it. It's like your daughter saying, I need some time. I just need some time. I just need a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with us. So we do try and do mental inventory checks. What's that?
That it's not about you. I just need some time. It's just my time.
Oh, I was laughing so hard, by the way, when you said that, because I'm the same way. Like, wait, because Lauren said, listen, I'm going to go for a drive. And I said, oh, we're going for a drive. She's like, no, I'm going to go for a drive. And I went, okay, no, I got it. But of course, inside you can't help.
Yeah.
But
You don't want to drive with me?
Don't want to drive with me? Come on. So the mental inventory is just so important.
I heard too that you have your therapist on speed dial. What advice have you heard from your therapist during this time that has helped to keep you, make you less wobbly?
Be tender. Be tender. Be tender with yourself. Be tender with your days. Be tender with your babies. Be tender. And just be tender during this time. Tender, caring. I love how you always talk about not only being grateful, but always making sure that we're present. And I think when we're present in everything, that's another thing too. You know, I wrote this word down on my whiteboard. I called it silver lining superpower. And what I mean by that is when you start to become the silver linings during this time has really enabled me to be even more so super present about everything. Again, I love how you talked about the steps. You're walking up the steps, you're present with the steps, but when you're so present with everything, it just, there's some silver linings that could become really powerful. And I'll get back to your question. Tenderness was one thing too, just being really tender. And I think the tenderness then leads to just an empathy that we're all going through it together. Because I got to tell you, for years, I felt like I was an empathetic human being, had a decent EQ, but also intense. And it's time to work. And when it's time to work, you want to galvanize people. You want to get to work. You want to help change and hopefully evolve not only yourself, but everybody around you. But this pandemic has really led to just a different, I think, level of care and empathy that I have, where I can walk into a scenario now, and I'll get back to the tender part, but just there's a bit more of a calmness, because you realize we've always felt like, and everybody on this call watching, we've all dealt with loss of life and family members and loved ones, and we know that there's a fragility to life. But this thing it's almost like it's removed it's almost like we're looking through a kaleidoscope and just a couple of clicks and we see the world in a whole different way.
Yeah. I know that another big anchor for you is your work, and I want to know how that has shifted for you.
Well, production-wise, it's shifted, quite drastically. We, of course, as everybody knows, we've shut down. Hollywood has shut down. Production has shut down, understandably so. We'll get back up and moving, I think, when it's safe and we could create the best environment and culture for the crews. I'm in no rush. We were very fortunate. I do have one project that we were fortunate about. It's called the Titan Games, and we actually shot it. We shot it. We finished it by January, so we were ahead of everything getting shut down. So everybody at NBC, they really mobilized quickly. We moved it up. It'll come out now this May and Memorial Day. But one of the cool things about this show, and the reason why I think it has connective tissue to what we're talking about, is as you talk to your audience about mindsets and about being present and about being grateful and about resolve, it just so happens that everybody who we recruited for the show happened to be these frontline workers who are veterans and doctors and nurses and teachers, and they really, I think their resolve is going to be a nice reprieve for people who want to escape and watch.
Wow. Well, have you at least taken this time, because I know you were doing so many projects at one time. You're the biggest. We were just talking at our dinner table the other day, because I was going to talk to Rock, and we were all saying you're the biggest movie star celebrity in the world. I mean, when you just take that all in, and now you, like the rest of us, have been sent to your room and yes, for this time out. Have you been able to use it to deepen yourself in a way that was unexpected? What has this pandemic taught and deepened in you?
That's a great question, and you're right. I mean, that goes to show just how when you strip everything away from everybody, we're all experiencing it the same. Strip it all away, we're all
Yeah.
experiencing the same, just
Biggest
different
star
parts
in
of
the
it.
world. Yeah, biggest box office star in the world is just like us.
And you're Lady O, and you would strip it away, and everyone is experiencing it together. In ways, Oprah, that I could never have imagined. How this pandemic has affected my life, has changed me, and as you know, and everybody on this Zoom call has gone through this. I lost my dad January 15th, and the grief kind of felt like it just rolled along and into the pandemic. And funny, just last night I finally had the guts and the capacity to go through all his old stuff. I was like, I'm just going to go through it, and it was really beautiful. And I put on the right music because you got to put on the right music when you do things like that, and all the condolence cards and things like that. But the point of this, it reminded me last night, like, gosh, life is just so fragile and beautiful, and how this has affected me in ways that I could never have imagined is really. I talk about the silver lining superpower. The greatest one has been the time it has enabled me to spend with my babies and my loved ones, and at home, because if you're driven and ambitious by a work that takes you out, it's what we want to do, and we want to take care of our families and take care of our loved ones. But this thing, as we've all experienced it just forced me to stay home. And at first I was a little angst and anxiety. Well, what's next? And where's my work? Because you're just programmed to get up, wake up, all of us are, and think, what's next? And what are we doing? But this thing has it just made me go, got it. The thing that is most important in my life is the things that are in this house. Yeah. And this time that I've been able to spend with them.
Keep posting with your beautiful daughters. We love that. We love that.
Thank you. I love them. They're great. They're the best.
So Christina wrote us from YouTube to say that she's watching The Rock with family right now in awe. And she says, thank you for inspiring the world in a healthy way, as we all do. Say thank you for being who you are and inspiring us in so many ways. Thank you, Dwayne. I want to know, are you drinking more Terramana?
Not only am I drinking more Terramana, but I have more of this coming for you. And it will be on its way.
Good, because we're running out at my house. We do Terramana Tuesdays with tacos. We do we do. We have Terramana Tuesdays. You
are the best. I thank you, and for those on this call who may have purchased Terramana, I thank you too. You truly, it's a passion project for me, and I'm glad everybody enjoys it. And I want to say thank you for having me on.
A little ice and some lime, just a little ice and some lime. Yeah.
And by the way, I always tell people, I said, and for those on the call, let me just give you a little bit of context here. So the tequila line came out in January, and the very first time it publicly came out, I said, you know what? Let me go on with Oprah on stage in Atlanta. I'm going just to present you a bottle. And then I found out from your team, they said, well, you know what? Oprah wants to actually try it on stage. And you're like, oh boy, you never know. Wait a second, and I know you have a reputation to protect and of quality. And I was like, oh boy. And I said, let's do it. I believe in it. And you tasted it and you really enjoyed it. And it meant the world to me. And I thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I've been tasting it since. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, WW. See you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Running mate. Okay, in a little bit, we're all going to join in a moment of meditation together. Isn't The Rock something? I know. Biggest movie star in the world. He's stuck at home, just like all of us. So if there's one person who's as passionate about meditation as I am, it's a fellow WW member, Kate Hudson. So when we decided to do this virtual experience, we called Kate to see if she wanted to join us, and she said, yes. Hi, Kate. How you doing?
Hi.
Oh,
I wanted to say
you.
hi.
Oh, look at you. Oh, my. Gorgeous. Look at that smile. You said last month that between homeschooling your kids, running your businesses and scrubbing toilets, you haven't had time for that moment of reflection that The Rock was just talking about, that so many others have talked about. I think a lot of moms out there can relate. You're scrubbing toilets too, Kate Hudson, really?
Yeah, I'm one of those, like, I don't like a dirty toilet. No, yeah, I think, I have had moments of reflection at this point, but it's a lot more challenging when it's a constant, and I am doing the homeschooling, and I'm, it's just me and the kids and Danny, and that's how we're doing it. So it's been hard to kind of have those moments where, except at night, where you can actually go, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah. Well, today's conversation is about finding focus. And how is WW helping you stay focused during this time? Have you been on track? Have you still been tracking?
Oh yeah, I mean, WW, it's always helped me on focus, but for me, I just love it as it's like my touchstone. You kind of, whenever things get a little bit sort of out of hand, you can always just sort of come back to it, and it's, for me, it's been that. And, but honestly, the focus, I mean, we're getting into meditation. That's always really been my number one, for connecting is meditation.
And are you doing it twice a day or once a day? You're able to do it twice a day?
I do it twice a day. It's funny, The Rock was talking about the scans, checking in. I do a lot of those. I do a lot of body scanning. And I work a lot with meridians and things like that, like energy pathways. And I just check in and kind of find where my body's holding and breathe through those areas. It's actually a really beautiful way of connecting to you.
Yeah, I can't say enough about coming back to breath. Life. I can't say enough about it. And I know you mentioned Danny. The truth is, I was saying earlier that now you know how important it is to be with somebody who you really connect to if you're living in that space. Have you learned that even more?
Yeah, I was just talking about this earlier, about this time has been very interesting with us, because whenever we meet any of those triggers, we have to work through them. And now more than ever, I realize that Danny and I's relationship is incredibly healing. The way that we work with each other. And whenever he allows me space to recognize that that I have to move through something. And there's a lot of tag teaming going on right now. And I think a lot of people are feeling that. And if you don't have the partner that you can say, hey, tag, you're it, then it gets very overwhelming. And a lot of things have come up. I loved the word tenderness that The Rock used, because, this is it's funny. I have my therapist on speed dial as well, and my word's actually been purpose. It's the tenderness is interesting, and purpose. It's like, it's a lot about the reflection in those times. It's like, what purposeful speaking to people purposefully, the choices you make and the purposes that they hold, and what you want, what do you want to do moving forward.
The last time we sat down, you talked about loving people. Last time we sat down, you talked about loving people through their triggers. And I bet that has come in handy, because this is what everybody needs to know. Everybody needs to know. We're going to talk about relationships specifically next week, but if you're living with someone, or even if you're not, the people you're Zooming with at this particular time where there's this much closeness, this much intimacy, even though we're socially distanced, it is set up to trigger you. And that's what relationships do. It's set up to trigger you.
and our community at large is important, and we're not connecting to it in the way that we normally do, you know, where it's tactile. We can connect to it digitally, but we're not, you know, I mean,
Right.
I don't even know, I haven't hugged my mom. I mean, you know, so it's sort of like, sometimes you just have these moments of like, you know, we need to connect to a larger community. So when those things kind of come up, it is the opportunity to really ask yourself, am I with the right partner? Because if we can
Well,
get
as I
through
said
this,
earlier, there's listen, you've said that this is really affirmed for you in way, affirmed and confirmed that you are absolutely with the right partner. I think a lot of people, it's done the opposite, and I think that's good. I think this is going to move us into the next level of conscious evolvement that each individual and the collective consciousness needs. And so
and,
I,
and
I
I
think
hope
that is the silver lining superpower that the Rock was speaking of. That's the real silver lining superpower.
yeah, yeah, and I hope that it when we start to open back up and more, even more, I hope that people take the slowed down aspect of our daily life and maintain it in some capacity, you know, because there's something so nice about not feeling like you have to do something or have to go somewhere, that you can,
Yeah.
you know, in, you know, there's something, the simplicity of it is, I think hopefully has gone a long way for a lot of families.
It's what I was saying earlier, that we need to let this moment, as disordering as it has been, reset and reorder what it needs to in each of us. And if we miss this, then it will be tragic. The real tragedy will be if we miss what this is here to offer us in this moment. And we're about to participate in something called the Big Quiet with Jesse Israel. I heard you're going to stay with us.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited for you to experience this next moment with us. And so, as you know, Kate, while we were on tour, we experienced something called the Big Quiet. It is a mass meditation led by Big Quiet founder Jesse Israel. And we loved it so much that we asked Jesse to join us on every stop. And as we get ready to take on the day, this Saturday, with more focus and clarity, I want to share in a big quiet moment. Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Oprah. It's so great to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. You're looking really good. It looks like you got a haircut. Could you get a haircut during this whole time?
You know, my mom, who I'm actually staying with, did this fine work right here.
Oh, okay, good.
And
I know it's hard.
had my hairstylist on Zoom, and we all made it work together. But thanks for noticing.
Oh, that's great. Of course. So let's talk about the Big Quiet. Let's do it.
Great. So right now there are thousands of us tuned in from all around the world. And together we're going to slow down, center ourselves, and get quiet. We've heard Oprah, Kate, The Rock all talk about connecting with breath, connecting with the body. So I'm going to guide a really simple meditation practice that will allow us to do that. And that will ease some of the stress and some of the anxiety that I know so many of us have been feeling recently. And I think this will help create a stronger foundation for how we can apply focus to our lives. So when we practice this meditation, if you find that your mind is wandering, know that that is totally normal. It doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean that you're a bad meditator. It just means that you're human. So if you notice that your mind wanders, just be easy with yourself and very lovingly and gently bring your attention back to my guidance. And Jackie Cantwell from the Big Quiet is now joining us. She's going to be playing sound bowls, and these are instruments that soothe the mind and relax the body. So for the next couple moments, let go, enjoy the ride, and you can go ahead and close your eyes. To start, take a big breath into your belly, filling up your chest and letting it out. And taking another big breath, air into your belly, expanding into your lungs and chest, and letting it out. And one last big breath into the belly, air filling out into your lungs, continuing to take in air and holding your breath at the top and let it all out. And letting your breath settle in your own natural rhythm. And bring your attention to your feet. Noticing your toes. And moving your attention up your legs, past your knees. Noticing your thighs and your hips. And allow gravity to pull you down into your seat. Noticing your lower back, up your back to where your shoulders meet your neck. And noticing your jawline and your lips. Notice your tongue in your mouth. And bringing your attention to your nose, notice the air just very gently moving in and out of your nostrils as you breathe, naturally, effortlessly. Noticing your chest as it gently rises and falls. Noticing how your body breathes by itself. Bringing your attention to your heart, notice any emotions or physical sensations that you may be feeling in your heart. And whatever may be coming up for you, just allow yourself to welcome it, to be with it, to not judge it or resist it. Knowing that we are exactly where we're meant to be and where we need to be right now in our lives. And bringing your attention to the sound of the bowls, notice as they slowly fade away and we move into 60 seconds of total silence. And while keeping your eyes closed, before we end our practice, we'll take a moment of gratitude. Gratitude for the thousands of people from around the world who have come together to share in the power of stillness. Know that you are strong, and in this moment, you are well. And as you're ready, you can begin to slowly open your eyes. And welcome back.
Whoa. Thank you for that, Jesse. You are well. We are well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. That was so great.
Thanks, Oprah.
How
Thanks,
wonderful that
Kate.
you joined us. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse. That was only 60 seconds of quiet. You know, I think it's vital to find 60 seconds to reset and refocus your vision, no matter what's swirling around you. In the most magnificent way, the forces of life, as I've been saying throughout this Saturday morning gathering with all of you, the forces of life have engaged with us to have us look at our lives differently. And each day is an opportunity for renewal, no matter how overwhelmed you might be feeling in this moment. So for the next week, we're going to focus on your mindset. And when you feel the stress rise up, do just as Jesse just instructed us for that 1 minute. You can do that because you are in control. You are in control. Your thoughts are not in control. You are in control of the thoughts. And so when all the anxiety shows up in your mind, in your head, Justin, as you were saying, the worry shows up, stop that thought, move to your breath. Stop the thought, move to your breath, focus on your breath. Let the thought then pass right through and say to yourself, in this moment, I am well. Remind yourself that of all the more than 80,000 people who've lost their lives, who've been examples and victims of what COVID could do and the destruction and disorder that it has wrought, in this moment, you are still well. And know that hope and fear that all of us feel, all of us are feeling it, even the rock. Hope and fear cannot occupy the same space. Fear is a mood to be worked through, not a voice to be obeyed, says the poet Mark Nepo. It's a mood to be worked through, not a voice to be obeyed. So our mantra for this week, our focus is, I am well. I am well. I just want to end with this poem that someone sent to me. A friend of mine sent this to me yesterday. You all have heard the line, we are the ones we've been waiting for, and this is from the Hopi Elders. It says, you've been telling people that this is the 11th hour. Now you must go back and tell the people that this is the hour. And there are things to be considered. Where are you living? What are you doing? What are your relationships? Are you in right relation? Where is your water? Know your garden. It's time. It is time to speak your truth, create your community, be good to each other, and do not look outside yourself for your leader. Then he clasped his hands together, smiled, and said, this could be a good time. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they're being torn apart and will suffer greatly. No, the river has its destination. The elders say, we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above the water. And I say, who is in there with you? And celebrate. See who is in there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves, banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So it's the Hopi Elders prophecy. I thank you all for joining us. I am well, you are well, be well, and stay well, and we'll see you all next Saturday. Thank you too. Thank you all too. Look for an email next week that'll have the new topic and workbook pages, all about connecting to both yourself and your relationships with those you love. Thank you all. Kate and I are going to keep talking a bit. You can see more of our conversation this Monday on the WW Connect app. Hope to see you there. Bye, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday.